All right, so what I want to do now is I like to take a little bit of time and talk a little bit about holsters. I think holsters get overlooked a lot by people, and they don't really know the importance of what a holster is for. So there's three main functions to a holster. Can anybody tell me what they are for?
To keep your gun stable.
Keep your gun stable, or retention. Keep it in place and from there. Good. What else?
Easy access.
Easy access. Oh, it sounds like you did this class or something already.
Yeah.
So you want it to be easily for you to access your firearm, get it on target or whatever you need. So that's a good one. What's the third one?
Safety.
Bingo. Safety. All right. Your firearm needs to protect, your holster needs to protect your firearm's trigger to make sure it's not having an accidental discharge. So we're going to talk about a couple different ones. I'm going to first talk about the ones that I don't have, that I can't show because I don't have them and I don't necessarily use them. Number one is going to be an ankle holster. I'm not a big fan of an ankle holster. All right. If it's your last chance of carrying a firearm or not carrying a firearm, then okay, maybe that's the only way to do it. But nowadays, there's so many different types of holsters out there. I think an ankle holster is a little hard to get to. It doesn't make it very accessible to be able to get down and get to it. So if somebody's shooting at me, either I need to hop down the street to get away and try to get it, or I need to stop and bend down and get it. So if it's your only choice of carry for an ankle holster, then okay, I understand that, but it's not number one choice for me. Number two is a fanny pack. Dave loves the fanny pack. Fanny pack nowadays are very small. Back when I had a fanny pack in the early 90s, it was a very big fanny pack to conceal a firearm, which had Velcro on it and all that, which worked very well, but it was very big. All right. Nowadays, they make them very small, but what happens on a fanny pack is you can take the firearm and the barrel would actually go down through like the strap that goes around your waist. So you could have a full-size firearm in this little tiny 4-inch fanny pack. All right. And like I said, I know Dave wears them a lot and he likes them. It's just not for me. I just found that for me it's a little hard to access them and get to them and get to the firearms, but he likes them, and that's one of the options that he has on that. Purses, briefcases, gym bags. I'm not a big believer that your firearm should be kept in a purse at all, or a gym bag or a briefcase. If somebody's going to rob you, what am I going to steal?
Where your gun is.
Your purse. So if somebody steals your purse, you can't chase them down the street. Oh, excuse me, I just need one thing out of there. So your firearm is now gone. Now, they do make purses that have holsters built into them. Does it make it any quicker to get to? No, but you pretty much have to walk down the street with your hand on the firearm in order to have quick access to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know there's many ladies that do that. They're like, I don't feel comfortable wearing a firearm when it's on me, with the way I dress, so I have it in my purse, but when I'm walking out to my car, my hand's on my firearm in my purse. And you want a holster in there so that your firearm is kept in the same position and that it's safe. All right. If you just stick a firearm into a purse or a pocket or a gym bag or whatever, and it's turning around, you may reach in and grab and hit the trigger. You may grab the barrel. You may grab a lot of different things. So always make sure that, if it's in your purse, briefcase, or gym bag, that it's in a holster. And they make holsters that go in those items, and they make purses, gym bags, and briefcases with holsters already built in. So if you have your favorite Gucci handbag, you can get a holster that will fit into there to keep it safe and everything in that sense. So we have ankle holsters I don't use, fanny packs I don't really use. We have purses, gym bags, and briefcases. I have one that I keep in my briefcase, but I don't almost never keep my firearm in it, so I don't keep that in all the time unless I know that's how I'm going to keep my firearm in there. And then other than that, let's talk about some other holsters. So back in 1989 when I got my permit, I had a big silver firearm. It was a Smith & Wesson. I still have it, but it was actually probably a little bit bigger than this. And the way that I carried was no holster, stuck like this. I work security like this. So I was involved in a situation that we started getting heated up and fighting around a little bit. And the pushing of my leg coming up was forcing the firearm up and out. So I'm not going to point it to myself, but what happened was the firearm came up and it tipped like this, and the hammer of the firearm snagged on my shirt. So that was the only thing holding the firearm in, but it was pointed right at me. So at that point I said, you know what? I need to do something different. I need something that's going to control the firearm and it's not going to just fall out. So I went and got this one, and this is from early 90s. And you see it's like almost brand new. It's just a sleeve. So let's think about the three things. What retention does this holster have to retain this firearm? None. There's nothing in there, okay? What safety mechanism does it have to protect the firearm? Maybe a little bit on the trigger, but I could actually activate this trigger very easily through this material. All right. And accessibility, well, it probably could be accessible, but to be honest, this is just a little clip here, and it's a left-handed holster because I carried it in the small of my back, and I would grab it like this because I felt that that was the best way for me to carry it. So accessibility wasn't that good for me. I mean, to draw from here and try to get out wasn't working. I could have gotten a right-handed and posted in different spots, but I soon realized that this was doing nothing for why I needed a holster, so I stopped using that. They do make them nowadays with like a little retention strap that goes over that, and if you feel that that works for you, there's nothing wrong with it. It just, to me, it just was way too flimsy and I didn't like it. So they came out years later with what they call as Kydex, K-Y-D-E-X, which is a hard plastic, all right? This is exactly what you want for firearms. So this Kydex one, in my opinion, is awesome. It retains the firearm, holds it in place. Not a huge retainment, but enough that it will lock it in place. I can tighten that or loosen that as need be. But it also has this trigger guard on there. This trigger guard prevents anything from hitting that trigger. So I recommend having a Kydex type holster on there. So you guys all have pistol permits. Anybody have a holster already? What do you got?
It's almost like the first style, but it's leather. I got it at Gander when I bought the gun in August.
Any retention strap on it?
No.
Okay, so it's just like a sleeve of a
It's like that. It's got the clip, so I can clip it right because I found it's the most comfortable spot is back here.
Yeah. So and then you're going to find out to actually draw from there is hard. Because think about a critical situation. You might be using your hand to defend, and now you got to reach back there and draw. Which, as I was doing training, I realized that that wasn't working for me. So, anybody else have a holster already? Okay. So Kydex, I think, is kind of the better way to go. It protects the firearm. It makes it locked in position so that it's always going to stay in the same position. All right. If you're going to get any kind of Kydex holster, you want to get what they have is a cant on it or an angle. So I can adjust it to angle forward or angle back a little bit. And usually they say it angles 15 degrees both directions, 10 degrees both directions. So you want that little bit of a cant because you may feel more comfortable with a draw from here, or maybe it's over on this side and I want to cant it back a little bit and I want to draw from across. So just kind of go with the flow on that one. I like the Kydex. So when we talk about holsters, one that I didn't mention was a pocket holster. If you're going to keep it in your pocket, you want a holster on it. All right, they make little tiny holsters for them that when you pull the firearm out, the holster will actually stay in your pocket. I don't ever carry in my pocket, so I don't have a need for that. This is what they call an outside the waistband holster. All right, it's going to go outside your waistband, and it's kind of an outside the waistband paddle holster, meaning it's just got this big old paddle on the back that kind of goes against your body. And this is a replica Glock 17 training firearm. So this is how an outside the waistband works. In New York State, it's got to be concealed. But how concealed am I in this position? All right. So now this is a used holster. We use this all the time, so it's probably angling out a little bit more than it needs to. There are things that they do with these holsters to kind of bring them in a little bit tighter. Dave carries outside the waistband a lot, but the way Dave typically carries is his firearms like this, and then he'll have a coat or a jacket or something over it, kind of protecting it, and you really can't see it too much in that case. He'll have like just snapped here at the bottom. You wouldn't really know I have a firearm on me. Right? I don't like outside the waistbands because whether it's a shirt and it prints the outline of the firearm, or if I reach up, you may see the bottom of the firearm. All right, so if I got to reach to get something off the store shelf or whatever, that firearm is going to be exposed, possibly getting me in trouble with brandishing a firearm. Dave likes this. He feels good with it. The nice advantage outside the waistband is your draw is going to be quicker, all right, from an inside the waistband. Because you have a little bit of room, you can get your thumb in there a little bit easier. And when my thumb's getting in there easier, it allows me to get my grip and establish it and get on target a lot faster, all right? So outside the waistband is good. You can carry it 3 o'clock, front, appendix, back, wherever's comfortable for you. But for me, concealing it is hard, all right? I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy, so for me to just throw a shirt over this is kind of hard. Now, Glock 17 is a big firearm. So you get something a little bit smaller, it may work, all right? So I'm going to actually show you that too. So this is an outside the waistband with a kind of a bigger firearm on there. this is an outside the waistband where the clips are a little bit different, so it's a little bit tighter to me. And I hate putting these down because I can never get these off. With a little bit smaller of a firearm, again, it's a training firearm, and the concealment is a little bit better. All right, it doesn't stick out so much with the handle. You guys are looking at it, so you're going to know that it's there. Most people probably would never catch on that I have a firearm on me. Okay, especially if my arm's down on my side, they're not going to notice that at all. But smaller firearm, it does work. Again, still gives you the availability to draw pretty quickly. So, where'd that other one go? So talking about the clips on the back, all right, and they're all kind of slightly different. So this is like a paddle clip, so that's going to form to your body wherever you put it, and it pushes out the firearm a little bit because it's between the firearm and your body, the clip is. This one is not a great example, but the clips are a little bit farther apart, all right, which allows this to sit a little bit tighter to you. And there's some that the clips come way out, so the actual firearm and everything's really tight to your body, easier to conceal. You just have to find that brand. I don't carry outside the waistband, so it didn't matter to me where the clips were located, but you can get them that they're a little bit wider, making them a little bit tighter against your body. Again, that's outside the waistband. Inside the waistband is the way I actually carry it. This is my actual holster, all right? It goes in between my belt and me. This does not actually fit this holster, but I'm going to use it for example. So it will go in like so. The challenge with inside the waistband is it's a little bit tighter to your body. Now when I draw, I can't get my thumb in there as easy. So I may either have to shift way over to get my thumb in, or you need to learn to draw without using your thumb and then have your thumb engage afterwards, which that's the way I train, is without using my thumb. So outside the waistband, inside the waistband, for me is the way I carry. I typically carry at 3 o'clock, and this training firearm is about the size of the one I actually carry. You'll never even know it's there. It's pretty tight, it's against my body. Downfall to that is now your pant sizes usually have to go a size up, okay? So some people are like, well, I gotta buy new clothing and all that. Yeah, I can again put this appendix, which is a faster draw. I can put it wherever. For me, to put it in appendix carry here is fine when I'm standing, but when I'm sitting, it digs into my stomach, digs into my legs, digs in my groin area. It's not super comfortable for me all day. So I'm typically a 3 o'clock carry person. Actually about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I like it just slightly forward. I don't want to go too far back. I find as I got older, the farther I had to reach back, the harder my flexibility was to get to that firearm. And if I have to defend with my left hand and draw one-handed, that's a hard draw. So I went from the back position to the side. I tried the front, it just didn't work with me. I do love the appendix carry in the front because it is a faster draw. It's easier to work from here than it is to work from here. So I went out and I bought this holster because everybody says, oh, if you got leather backing on it or some kind of backing, it's more comfortable. So I said, cool, so let's try this. And I loved it. I put this on and I could sit down and I was comfortable. I'm like, this is great. The problem with it, I won't get that one out. I don't know if this one will fit in here or not. Yeah, it might. Okay. The problem with it is it has this little extra locking mechanism in here, which you have to grab the firearm and twist it in order to get it out. All right, and I can do it when it's like this, but when my belt is across it and it's pulling it tighter to my body, I could not twist this and get the firearm out at all. So I got to the point that I'm like, even though I love the leather part of it and I could carry it appendix style, I just couldn't get the firearm out, which means it's not going to save my life. People say it will loosen up, it will do this, it will do that. I've tried. I even tried to file that down a little bit to make it a little bit looser. And it just, as soon as my belt goes on there, it kind of crushes it and just keeps it too tight to my body. So there are a lot of other brands that I'm going to try, but I'll be honest, I spent a lot of money on this holster and it didn't work, and I'm kind of scared to go try other holsters. But I do like the fact of the leather. I thought it was good. It protected me, protected the firearm, and it made it more comfortable. So, like I said, typically I'm inside the waistband. When I am teaching, I will use a tuckable holster. All right. So if I had, bless you, if I had you're on camera now sneezing. If I had a regular holster like this and I had my firearm in there, I could not tuck my shirt in. My shirt's going to go down into my pants and it's going to expose the firearm. So a tuckable holster kind of solves this problem. How can I carry when my shirt has to be tucked in? So what happens is my shirt is actually going to go down between the clip and the holster itself, like so. And I can actually tuck this right in, and obviously tuck my whole entire shirt in all the way around, and you would never even know I have a firearm in there. All right, so I could draw it out from here and still access that firearm pretty quickly. All right, so if you are a professional that needs to tuck a shirt in, they do make holsters for that. And there's even holsters now that these clips are out to the side, so it's even tighter of a fit for you as opposed to this one being kind of pushing against your body. So there's a lot of ways to do that. I just think you got to find what's comfortable for you. All right. Another one that I like that I don't use that often is a shoulder harness. I use it usually in the wintertime because you have to have a coat on over the top of it. This would strap down to my belt, kind of keep it in place. It's got spots for spare magazines. Firearm fits right in there nicely. Okay. And the draw of this is extremely fast. So, like I said, you got to wear a coat though. So I could be here, and you're looking at it, you say, "Oh, it looks a little bulky." Not too bad. I mean, I get comfortable with it, but you wouldn't really know I have a firearm. The nice thing about it is it's a very fast draw. A cross draw is probably going to be one of your fastest types of draws. So I can get in there. I can get that retention strap to pop off using my thumb, and then get on target very quickly. All right. So I love this. But here's what happened to me. We went out to eat. Right. Go out, I got my gun on, I got my jacket on, we go out to eat, I go to take my coat off, and I'm like, oh, I can't. So I either had to eat dinner with my winter coat on, or I had to go in the men's room, wait till everybody left, and this is what I did. I took my coat off in the stall, took my firearm off in the stall, folded it all up into my coat, and walked out of the men's room like this. Because I didn't want to, have the firearm just fall out if I carried it on my side. So I'm walking out of the men's room like this, looking kind of weird. So my rule now is if I'm going out to eat, if we're going shopping and I'm going to carry this firearm, this holster, we go out to eat prior to that, and I don't bring it in with me. But if we're going somewhere where I'm going to carry this, there's a reason why I want to carry this. So we make sure we don't go out to eat on those particular excursions, I guess. But these are great. The problem is, like I said, you're limited on when you can wear them and when you can't. I know Dave's got one that is a chest holster. So he puts his coat on and zips up a little bit, and it sits right on his chest, right on his stomach area, and I didn't even know he had it on one day, and he's like, look, and he just kind of showed it. So there's a lot of options with that. Belly bands. I think belly bands got a lot of value to them. If you wear pants that maybe do not carry a belt, shorts, or for the ladies, the yoga style pants, a belly band is very good for that sense. It's just that, it's just a belly, it just goes right around, or a band that goes right around your belly, and it can hold up, really any kind of firearm in there. I lost my other snap on that, but this is the one that I used to have. What started happening though is it started coming apart a little bit, and I always had like this little thing sticking out there, and it was catching on my shirt, and so it just kind of wore out. So I said, okay, let's get rid of this belly band. Let's buy another belly band. So I went out and bought this one. A super expensive one. I'm going to cover this up because it's on video. And it was extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. And I loved it, and then I realized I didn't like it. I'll tell you why. So the strap is very tight on the firearm. When I go to pull, it was hard to pull that off. And sometimes it doesn't even come off that easy. Sometimes I'm like yanking this up and then it finally clicks. So it was a very hard pull on that sense. And the biggest issue I had with the old belly band and this one that I realized afterwards with training was the holster itself collapses. So when you pull your firearm out, so when I pull my firearm out, so I got the step of lifting my shirt, unsnapping it, grabbing the firearm, and I pull it out and I gauge. You see how it just collapsed? So now if I'm on the phone with the police and I need to reholster, I can't do it one-handed. And watch how I have to reholster. I have to almost stick my hand in front of the muzzle and be very careful. I mean, I'm doing it right now without pointing it at myself, but I gotta be very careful in the way I reholster. So when I was doing tactical training with the U.S. Marshal, I realized that this was not working for me because I couldn't do anything one-handed, and if I was engaging somebody with this hand, I couldn't get to this one very easily. So I did some research, and I came up with this one, which is, and they are not sponsoring this at all. They're not telling me to say this. This is my own likings and doings. This is the Crossbreed holster, which I really like. It's got a hard Kydex shell on it, and it will kind of strap across like this. I would obviously have my shirt pulled over it. Where'd that go? And the nice thing about this, and again, this holster is not designed for this particular firearm, is I could wear this with basketball shorts. Ladies, you can wear this with yoga pants. And you can actually engage, be on the phone, and then if you had to reholster one-handed, you can. Okay, so I like this one. It's got a spot for a spare magazine. All right. The nice thing about this thing would be Crossbreed holsters is this actual holster itself Velcro's on. I take this at nighttime, and I go to my holster next to my bed, which is a Velcro, and it sticks right next to the side of my bed. So in the morning, I take this off, I put it on my belly band. At night, I stick it on next to my bed. I don't have any young kids in the house, so I can keep this exposed at night, and that's kind of how I work that. So options are there. There's a ton of options for holsters. The problem is you got to find what works for you, and what works for you may not work for you, which may not work for you, may not work for anybody. All right. You're probably going to find that you go through 3 or 4 holsters before you find one that works. They need to be comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, you're not going to wear the firearm. They need to be accessible to where you can easily access that firearm and get it on target. They need to protect the trigger, make sure it's got something to protect it so it's not going to have an accidental discharge. And just take the time and do that. And, you know, my Facebook page, Beyond the Range, a lot of times people ask, you know, what kind of holster do you like and why? And we get a bunch of feedback on that. You know, people try it, they do it, and there's so many other people out there in the world that have experienced things with holsters that maybe you're looking at a certain brand and then you find out that it works for you, doesn't work for you, but you can try. So, any questions on holsters?
What about fat guys?
The brand?
Or me? Like, I can't see. I haven't tried any of them.
Okay.
But we automatically have more pushing down.
Absolutely.
Right? So I was on the internet looking at holsters, and I would think for bigger people, the chest one's the best thing.
But are you going to be able to wear a coat all the time? How would you wear a chest one with what you're wearing today?
So generally, I wear button-up shirts.
Okay.
So that would be the
That'd still be too
the
hard.
access.
You'd have to unbutton your shirt. You'd have to
Well-
dress
Well,
it
I
up.
would leave one button unbuttoned.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my dad actually has a belly band. I bought him a belly band that was a thinner one because it's my dad. I didn't think he wanted a 5-6 inch piece of Velcro on him. So I bought a thinner one, and he was talking about where he carries it. He carries it, the little revolver, up underneath his armpit on the belly band.
Also,
like, Dad, how do you get to that? Are you going to lift your shirt way up there? I mean, he's 70-something years old. You're going to lift your shirt way up there and grab the firearm? He goes, no, I'm going to pop this button off and grab it out.
Yeah.
So if as long as you can pop that button and get to that firearm, that's not a bad option.
I haven't tried. Just I know like side they're gonna bend over. They're gonna push down.
Yeah, but I think you might find that on the side is not as bad as you think. But again, that's going to be something to be comfortable. The belly band might work for you because you can move it, you can adjust it, you can do things. Outside the waistband may work for you, but if you have to wear a button-up shirt, that's not going to work for you. I can tell you from my experience, because of my little bit of a stomach, if I sit with it in like an appendix style, it's uncomfortable. And I don't like it like that. But I've seen many thinner people carry it in the front with no problem at all. Now this one, I was able to carry in the front and have no problem with the problem. I couldn't get the gun out. All right, so that's the only reason why I didn't like this. But this little piece of leather made it very comfortable. So I think it's just going to be trial and error. But I would think that maybe, like you said, the chest one or a belly band that you can carry underneath your shirt and carry it underneath your arm a little bit would work. You might find that an outside the waistband works if you have some kind of blazer or shirt that you can put over top of it. Try different things. Yeah. So it's an unfortunate thing. You'll get a drawer full of holsters until you find what works for you. So, but don't let that stop you from carrying. Ladies, There is a website for ladies that has holsters in everything. Holsters in like yoga pants, holsters in sports tops, holsters in bras, holsters in dress shirts and dresses on thighs and everything. I don't know the name of the website for the ladies because obviously I don't go on there and shop, but I know ACO will know that name. If you go on there, ladies, you have a lot of different options. And guys, there's even holsters like for like a spandex type shirt that you'd wear underneath. You can get these, like this, and then it would have a holster right underneath that just kind of goes on the side. I don't prefer them because I don't feel that it retains the holster in the same position. I feel, it doesn't retain the firearm in the same position. Firearm moves around a little bit, so I like it to be secured. So for me, it didn't work out, but I know that they make those as well. So, we good?